Hello everybody, welcome back, and here we are again, and let's start working on that project that we actually left few hours back, right? Not quite leaving, just we stopped working because I had to go somewhere, and it's time to just start working on that again. Hopefully I am audible and you can hear me well, and yeah. So let's delete this. Okay, what is the next thing that we have to do in here? The next thing is that uh, I have to work on this particular part, right? Okay. Makes sense. Okay, so what are we gonna be doing next? That is copying and pasting the features. So let's do one thing. This, and I'm gonna have a look at the features, right? So these are the features that we mainly have in here. In that case, we have to go to context menu, and in this context menu, what else? First one is gonna be copy, and how does it look like? That's not bad actually. So in that case, first one is gonna be cut. Let's just simply go with the same cut, and this is gonna be control plus X. The question is how it looks like. That's not bad, so fine with this. So first one is the cut, and the second, even this file, it doesn't need to be here. It is just gonna be the straight one, and at the end of the day, we have to focus on like having the same kind of design. And again, at the end of the day, we'll be having all the features in here. So first one is cut, second one is copy, third one is paste, then we have a separator. After that, this edit doesn't need to be here. Then we have wrap selection in frame, wrap selection, wrap selection in frame. That's also fine. There are gonna UI, that is the one, and orientation is gonna be horizontal. What's the by default orientation? Even by default orientation looks good, so no problem as such. The only thing is that it doesn't look it doesn't have the color of the style of Excalidraw, so we'll be focusing on that later. As for right now, we have gone through this much, and then separator, then we have even we have one more in here. Copy to clipboard as PNG, copy to clipboard as PNG, this thing, and paste, copy to clipboard as SVG. This is insane, like how we are gonna be copying it that as SVG, copy to clipboard as SVG. So I'm not getting one thing, that we can copy it as PNG, that is fine, and To check it, let's open eraser. Yeah, coming back to this. Why am I not able to open it? I'm not having good internet connectivity. Anyway, this is fine. So yeah, we are getting that. And how about if I copy it as SVG? Interesting. So it is even possible. We'll see how this particular thing can be done. I don't really know as to how we can accomplish this, and that is why we'll be taking care of it later. But as for the features, we are gonna be having all. Then there's gonna be separator. We have copy styles, paste styles. This is insane. How does it work? Wow, it is possible. Okay, we'll apply. We'll have this feature too. So copy to clipboard. Shift Alt C. Shift plus Alt plus C. Then we have copy styles. That's fine as well. And we have paste styles. The shortcut is gonna be Control Alt C, Control Alt V, Control plus Alt plus C. How does it look like? We'll decrease the font size, that's the first thing, and probably then it's gonna be fine. Add to library, I don't even know how it works, so we'll see. Separator, okay, there are two cursors. Okay, so what do we need to do? Add to library. So we need to have menu button again. So that's gonna be add to library. I don't know how it works, so we'll see. Paste is pretty simple. That's gonna be Control plus L plus V. Let's have the shortcuts like this only. At least it will decrease the width. Copy is gonna be Control plus C, Control plus C. Paste is gonna be Control V, and just like this we have it. And add to library, that is okay. Flip horizontal, flip vertical. That's interesting. So just below this, again, even if we don't provide any shortcut, because that's fine as well, that is optional. So this is gonna be amazing, because even if there is no shortcut, that's gonna be fine. And the next thing is that flip to horizontal and all, so let's have it in here. As for the shortcuts, so Shift H flip horizontal, Shift plus H, and Shift plus V vertical. Flip horizontal, and flip vertical. We have add link, copy link to object. So we can add a link, we can copy a link to object. We'll see how it's implemented, but we are definitely gonna be implementing each and everything, so no problem. Just below this I'm gonna have it again, and this is gonna be add link, control plus K, control plus K. This is gonna be add link, copy link to object. It's gonna be implemented, but let's simply have it in here. Copy link to objects. I think I get the idea. When you click on the object, it's like you are clicking on the link. We have duplicate, we have lock, control shift L, and we have delete. So next one is duplicate. We even have lock, and control plus D is for duplicate, and control plus shift plus L is for lock, and lastly we have delete, and short the button is delete or backspace that we had. So backspace or delete. Coming back to this is how it looks like. We have cut, we have copy paste, but there's a problem, that is whenever we just hover over it, first of all the button that I had, there should be cursor pointer, and apart from this particular thing, destructive, this one we even have that. That's fine. The thing that I want to change, that is whenever I hover over them, the color should be changing, or at least that should be a bit darker, right? Whenever hover BG accent, hover text foreground. Okay, this is not bad as of right now. This is completely fine. We can just simply select them. As for the designing part, we will focus on it, but not now. And that's we'll make it exactly look like Excalidraw clone website ultimately. We have menu button, that's actually gonna be inside this only. Menu button dot in that case, here we are. This seems to be done, so ultimately I'm gonna be getting this, but this is not over yet. Why? Because we'll be getting two types of things. It can be actually the selected context, or it can be the not selected one, right? So we have to take care of this too. In that case, let's go through the steps one by one. So first of all, the thing that we are doing, that is canvas context. It's better to, this is just the context, that's okay. Don't pass context ref into the hook, so we are passing the context ref here. Instead let the hook on it. Okay, that's fine. Context menu ref. So we have a hook in here. That hook's name is use canvas context. It just simply gives us this function, handle context, close context as well. And now it will even have clicked in selected area. That can be either true or false. And it is even gonna be returning the context. So instead of passing the context to this, I'm gonna be returning the context from here. So just this particular thing. Excuse me, just suffering from sneeze a bit. Let's just simply import it in here. Once let's make it smaller, that's gonna be better. And once we have it, we are gonna be exporting this thing from here too. So that's also going to be returned sort of like this. So from here we are returning the context menu ref, and use context menu ref, that's okay. And we are returning the menu, we are returning the close and handle context. Coming back to this, we have to go to context canvas this time. Once we are inside the canvas, this will not take the context ref, rather it will return. So wherever we are using context ref, it turns out we are not really using that anywhere. Context ref, where is this coming from? Now this is fine. So now the question is, how will I get the context ref, because it's getting used here. So context to menu dot context ref. So context menu is actually gonna give us the context menu, gives us the context ref menu as well as the close context menu. It gives us all. Okay, that's fine, not bad. Apart from this particular thing, what else do we have to do? Instead of passing these things one by one, let's pass it all in here. So I'm gonna pass context menu itself. As I'm passing the context menu, so it will have the return type of that. This is gonna be the type for that for sure. This is the type. Let's copy it. Type is gonna be extremely important. And props, sort of like this. Now the question is that what's the type of this menu, and I think this is the right time to go to canvas, go to the top, get the menu from here, cut it. Once done, .ts, paste it in here. I'm gonna be creating sub-label types as well, so that if that's just being used in that particular section, so that's just available there, right? That is why. And coming back to this, later we are gonna be organizing the things even better, but as for right now, let's get the menu. Mouse event from React. Once we have the props, what are we passing right now? We are passing context menu. Do we have to pass that? Not really. So what do we have to pass? We have to pass context menu is nothing but an object, right? So that's what being passed right now. So the context menu that I have, if I want to pass it all, in that case what can I do? In that case, nope, this is not gonna work. Any better way here? Cannot think of any better way in here right now. So the way we are handling it is sort of enough. We are just simply passing the context menu. Coming back to this, I'm gonna be getting nothing but a context menu. So context. Done. And once I get the context menu, I'm gonna be further destructuring it. So context menu is gonna be what? Either I say like this or destructure that itself. Context menu will have menu, it will have close context menu, it will have context menu ref, it will have handle menu ref. I'm not sure how many things are actually being used. Handle menu ref, this is not really being used, but close will be used. Menu, this is gonna be interesting. Menu can further be destructured. So we'll have open, we'll have X, and we'll have Y. So we have the things. We'll have one more thing, and that is we won't have. We should have. That's gonna be clicked in selected area. That's gonna be a boolean. Hence now if I come to context menu ref, oh come on. So I'll actually have one more value in here, that is gonna be clicked in selected area. So if I'm clicking in the selected area, then I have to show different thing. If I'm not, I have to show different things, right? Apart from this particular thing, I'll have selected shape context, selected shape context dot tsx export default function selected shape context. Function selected shape context, right? So we have to return. So context menu, this time I'm going to return it all of it. So better cut from here. Let's just do this. Alrighty, there are many things to import. To do that, there are not many things actually, just these two are sort of enough. Anyway, let's go here. Now we need to have the context. It's good that I passed it like that earlier. So if I actually come back to this one right now, so I'll just simply get the context menu. I will not destructure it in here. So this is just gonna be this much. So we have the context menu, and once we have this particular context menu, the same copy it, but this is better. Come back here, paste it in here. As for the props, we don't have any props. Get the props from here, cut. Done. We have to import a few things. So this is gonna be the selected shape context. We will have two types of contexts there. So this is the first one. We will have another one that's gonna be canvas context shape, canvas context menu we have. Selected context in canvas context, will it be good? Selected shape context, that just simply is enough. And canvas context.tsx, canvas context.tsx, that depends, mainly belongs to the canvas. Okay, and then we have the main context menu button, not bad. Coming back to this, overall logic is gonna be the same, so I'm just simply gonna be copying and pasting this stuff, but there are gonna be differences as well. It's like I'll get the context menu, and there's gonna be this, that is right. I'll get close, I'll get context, I'll get everything, but clicked in selected area, we'll see. Apart from this particular thing, even this needs to be calculated. A clicked in selected area cannot be true all the time. As for right now, we are gonna be considering it to be true, or let's just simply render both of them at the same time. Later we'll do something. Context menu ref, in here I'm gonna be rendering two things. First one is gonna be this is better actually, selected shape context. Where is this coming from? Canvas context. Well, it doesn't really need to come from there. Apart from this particular thing, I need to have props there. So the props that I have here, cut, they are gonna be what kind of props? Context menu type, that's the one. Context menu, yeah, context menu type. So we have canvas, we have okay, we even have a toolbar in here. The type that I have, that should belong to this component section, and just in here I have this type. And this is not it, we are actually exporting one more thing, I forgot, but we'll see later. Context menu, context menu type. Hopefully this is gonna be good. Canvas context. So we have selected shape context, we have the canvas context, and sort of they are rendering the same things. Canvas context So ultimately canvas context menu we have, and canvas sort of contains both, so that should be editor menu, context menu, editor context, selected shape context, empty area context. Suggest me name, bro. I'm getting confused with the naming conventions. Overlay canvas. Create helper function, set menu later. There can be a number of things, bro. Tell me the names of the contexts for and empty area. I need to have good names. That is why I'm just simply asking. Context menu target. What the hell? There can be canvas, there can be shape, there can be selection, there can be text, and there can be image. Do not say me, tell me whatever. That it is actually rendering different things for different shapes. Let's see. So I have this, 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 one image as well. This is how, first of all, I need to select it. We are getting this. I think the same would be for it. Yeah, same would be for it as well. Same would be for it as well. Nothing changed though. Thank God. What the hell? How can I miss this? I missed it completely. This particular section. Later we can edit. But overall the types are same. So there are only two things, like selected and non-selected. So I have to have the name for them. Selection canvas. Context menu. Selected shape context I have, or I'm gonna be having what? Either selected shape context or canvas context. First one's name is selected shape context. What about the other? If one is called selected shape context, another one I recommend is the canvas context. That's what I actually named. Editor contains both. Okay, that's fine. This is gonna be the canvas context, and this context is gonna be getting the menu as well. Okay, this is how it simply goes. Either of them can be visible. It's not like both of them are gonna be. So I'm just simply gonna be hiding them as the time comes. But as for right now, there are two, even I can't see, because if I comment this I'm still getting, and if I comment the another one I'm still getting. That simply means there are two contexts that we get at the same time, even if they are not visible. The next thing that we have to focus on, that is rendering them conditionally, so we will be focusing on that. But yeah, this is something that's happening behind the scene. So this particular thing is done. We have this normal context menu responsible for rendering the selected shape context and canvas context, and this is how it simply gets it gets over. Let's work on this, but before even that, we have to know whether we actually clicked on shapes or not. That's amazing. So if I'm actually clicking on shapes, so there's the selected value is gonna be there, right? So if I come back here, canvas context menu, and by default we are keeping it false, and what I'm actually gonna do, that I'm actually gonna have a what is use effect here, and whenever the value of IDs change at the time that runs and sets the value of it again, either true or false, as simple as that. Understood? Let's try it. So use effect. What I want, that it should be depending on selected shape IDs. For that thing I need to have selected shape IDs. Use selected shape IDs. This is how it's gonna be done. Once I get that, so selected shape IDs, once I have that, I have to check if selected shape IDs dot length, if that's greater than 0, even if that one, that doesn't matter. In that case, set menu, we are gonna be getting the previous values. Once we get the previous values, dot 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 previous values, and clicked area, that's gonna be true. Or let me do it directly, and this true depends on selected shape IDs dot length greater than 0. So clicked in selection area, if the length is greater than 0, that simply means it will become true. So yeah, clicked. If not, then did not click. As simple as that. I can even simplify this true and false, but even that would work. But okay, this would be easier to understand, so I just simply mentioned it here. Whenever okay, this is enough for now. Good stuff. This much we've done, and now as I have already done this, so this is the right time to start using this. So if I actually come back to this one, not this here, context I'm talking about, context menu, I'm gonna be uncommenting this one as well, just like this. And now this particular section, so if I don't have clicked in selected area, I'm gonna be returning from here. As simple as that. I mean, it should not be hard to understand, right? if I did not click on the selected area, so this should not be visible. And the another thing is that this one, so in here if I actually clicked on the selected area, this should not be visible. So if I actually clicked on the selected area, in that case it should not be visible, just the opposite thing we are having in here. And again, it doesn't really matter where I'm clicking, because even if I have the shape and if I'm clicking on it, it still looks the same. So it's time to actually change the content inside them. So for changing the content inside them, we are gonna be using this as the reference. So this is the canvas context, right? So we have these many things. Okay, so the first one is paste. So if you copied something, you can directly paste. So let's just simply have everything that's in here, and later if we want, we can add some more things from on our side, right? That would be better. Copy to clipboard as png, copy to clipboard as png. There are many things I have no idea about exactly how they are gonna be implemented, but as long as we are able to learn, why can't we learn that, right? As svg. So because somebody implemented these features, so I can implement them too. So let's do that. Select all, copy, pasted. Shortcut is gonna be Control and V, and these two, the first one does have a shortcut, and that's gonna be Shift plus Alt plus C. The second one doesn't have any shortcut, so let's get rid of this, just like this. Then we have Select all, that does have a shortcut. Select all, shortcut, that's gonna be Control plus A. Then we have a separator, and then we have the remaining things on in one go. So let's remove this separator, I mean all the separators. Just after that, they need to be removed, even this needs to be removed. Okay, this is how it's gonna be going on. And yeah, we will even have some kind of they are not the buttons, that upper ones are the buttons, the below ones are not, so we will have to implement that selection option as well. Or yeah, that's the arrow, that's easy to get it, so let's not worry about that. That should be just visible right now. So select all, after that we have all these things. The first one is the control and that toggle grid, that is great. And this simply shows us how many features we need to work on. This oh yeah, it actually gives us the grid as well. So this is something that we can actually work on. Snap to objects, I don't know how it works, but good to have the feature, later it can be implemented. So snap to objects, because I actually have, like, in a month, within a month I have to get it ready, almost with all the basic features. Advanced features can be implemented later on, but it's good to have them right here. Snap to objects and arrow binding. Arrow binding we have. Snap to midpoints. Zen mode we have. view mode we have, and lastly canvas and shape properties we have. The remaining things need to be removed. As for the shortcut is gonna be alt plus this. View mode is gonna be alt plus R. Zen mode is gonna be alt plus Z. And they will not have the shortcut. Then snap to objects, it will have a shortcut alt plus yes, in the upper one that already has. So overall we have it here. That's interesting, this properties section. Okay, so overall the things are here. Now let's see how it looks like. So when we normally click, we get these options. Okay, doesn't matter where we click until unless the shape is actually selected, so it doesn't really matter. Now if we actually select the shape and then we click on this, so we do not get the separate actions. Why is that so? Because when we are selecting the shape, we should be getting different things. That's not getting true. The value of it's not dynamic yet. So clicked in a selected area, that should be dynamic, and if there is still so as soon as we change the value of the selected shapes, the same time we have to have the what is the issue? Just a minute. I changed. It is running. When it is running, we are changing the value of this. Set menu. So if selected shape.id is what is the length here, that is greater than 0, then it should become this. This seems to be working, so that's fine. Once this is done, the value of this has changed. So whatever we are passing from here, from this hook should reach here. Once it actually reaches not here, it should actually reach here. Once it actually reaches here, context menu is actually inside the canvas. Context menu, that is inside the canvas, right? Yeah, so it should actually be inside this, but okay, never mind, let it be here. Fix the current bug. Canvas we have, use context menu we have. Then once we have this context menu, we are passing it. Try it out. Object, stringified. Cannot be stringified, bro. So when I right click, it becomes false. Why? I selected this is true when I right clicked. It becomes false. So right now it is true. And after true it actually became false for some reason as soon as I clicked on that. Anyway, let's fix it. So whenever I'm clicking on the contact canvas, and then we actually have what? Canvas context menu, handle context. What are we doing here? Just a sec. Alrighty, let's continue. See what is up here. Set min. Oh, here we are, bro. But oh, we are setting it to false. So what do we have to do? We don't have to do anything actually, or we have to do something. The coordinates should change, that is it, and nothing else. So change what needs to be changed, nothing else. So previous string dot previous and x and y. What else? Nothing else. How about now? False. I cannot even render that. It is false. If that is actually false, okay, now fine. This we are getting this. The another thing is that select the shape, click, and this is the difference. Click outside, well, of course when you click outside the shape, we have to get it fixed as well. How does it work here? So when we click, we do not check the selected shapes, rather we check where we are clicking, and on the basis of that thing we decide. Okay, but one thing we have made here, that is, if that is shape is selected, we are getting these options. If that is not selected, we are getting these options. This is working fine. One thing that needs to be done, that is what are we actually doing here? First of all, this canvas, not this one, this context menu itself is the part of the canvas, isn't this? Yes, so let's keep it inside. So canvas menu is there, and even undo zoom controllers, they are also part of canvas itself, so that is why I have them inside that. I hang. Alrighty, so inside canvas we have everything else. Coming back to the hooks, we have the canvas, we have huge canvas context, and as of right now we are checking this, and this is something we do not have to do. Rather, we have to set the value of menu when this is insane. Whenever we click, at the time we have to check, and then on the basis of that check we have to change the value of it. So that's another way. We are passing the value of set menu a lot here and there. Once we have it in here, we have been passing it quite a lot, haven't we? And even if we saved menu there, we still had to pass the close context, didn't we? No, close means set it to 0 and open false. That would be great. So if we actually make it a global state here, so in that case what would happen, that if I come to canvas, we have to pass it here, from here we have to pass it here, from here we have to pass it here, and at the end in here we are using this. But we would have to pass context ref anyhow. Context ref, menu context ref, and right now we are just simply maintaining it there. That's okay, fine, not really big problem. Most of the things would still be happening, so that's okay. The only thing that it needs to be done, that is, I'm not gonna be come on, here we are doing this. This does not need to be done, because based on the shapes I cannot really decide whether I'm actually clicking on the area or not. But based on the shapes bounds, we can definitely decide whether we are clicking on the area or not. And most of the functions are already ready, so what I'll do, cut everything from here. And we have handle context, we have close context, so it's better to have open context as well. Open context. This should be open context. What does it mean, handle context? Open context, right? Let's look for the good names first of all. The naming convention is really bad here. Earlier it suggested some good names, so let's just simply have a look at them. Okay. Update clicked area. Yeah, this is what. So these are the three things we are supposed to be having in here: open context menu, close context menu, and update context menu. That simply updates the value. Just a second. Clicked inside selected area, that can actually be true or false depending on the need. Yeah, so this is what we have to do. So first of all, open context menu. Let's do that. So open context menu, close context menu, 2 we already have. Having said that, we actually have to now refactor the code a bit, because earlier we were using handle context, now we are using open context menu. This is done. The another thing is that we have to pass the context menu, but the type that we are actually using in here, the type itself is wrong, so that should be open context menu. And later I'm gonna be adding one more, and that's gonna be update context menu. And what it is doing, that is doing return nothing actually, just simply setting and all, doing something. Just a sec. Okay, fine. So it is gonna be getting a value. That value is gonna be nothing but boolean, or even update context menu. Yeah, calm down. What needs to be done next? We have to create it first of all. What it does, it gets a value and that's gonna be in selected area, that's gonna be boolean. Once it gets the value, clicked in selected area, once it actually gets this value, so I have to just simply call it with that particular value and the remaining things are automatically be done. So set menu and get all the previous values. Once we have the previous values, dot 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 previous, and that is it. This needs to be sent as well, returned ultimately. Coming back to this context menu, context menu type, fine. And what is the next thing? So now the question is, whenever I click down, okay, so whenever we click down and yeah, so not like that, yeah, actually like that. So whenever we click down, we have to check whether this is actually the click is inside the selected shapes area or not. As simple as that, right? So and what click, right or left? Not this, yeah. We have to check for this. Interesting, it's not even for that. First of all, we have to check it if we click on a shape, that's gonna be selected. So first of all, let's fix this particular thing, that and later when we even right click on it, that particular shape should be selected. So these are the two things that we have to focus on. Okay, and this thing is actually happening when I click on it, and especially when I right click. Okay, coming back to this, how can we do it? This is the canvas. On context menu I already have, and if there is a pointer, so I'm just simply returning from there because I don't want anything to happen there. But it turns out that something needs to happen. Okay, so context menu, open context menu opens, but we have to decide where we are clicking. On pointer down, here we are. So if the button was triple equals to 2, that simply means context button, the right one. So we were returning from here, and otherwise we were closing the context. If I actually clicked that, we are closing the context, that is right. So now we have to make the context visible, and it should be changing it should be dynamic as well. So we cannot depend on this, because whenever I click the left button, the context menu should definitely be closed, and that's what is happening in here. So this is not the place to write the code. So there's only one way left, that is whenever I click on the where is the canvas, canvas.tsx, then we have this context menu, and when we have open context menu, at that time I have to check. So okay, let's check. Yeah, we have the event. Once we have the event, we are setting the coordinates, we are setting it to true. Open is gonna be true, that is also that is right. There's one more value that needs to be here, and we are not setting that value. It's good that it is going to be open. How about whether that is selected or not? Not only this, if I still click on any shape, the shape should actually be selected as well, even if that is right click. Is this same thing happening in here? Turns out yes. Normally we have it always has the same. We are just for no reason. Okay, it is showing some different options as well, but as long as the shape is selected, doesn't matter whether you click here or you click here, the options are the same. Isn't it bad? Because the options are the same, doesn't matter where you click, as soon as this is it. Anyway, having said that, even if you right click, the shape should be selected. So first of all, we have to select the shape if we are actually hitting that, and there can be only one shape selected, or many. Yeah, there can be only one shape selected at a time. How about here? Yeah, there can be only one shape selected at a time. So you have to select that particular shape, and apart from this particular thing, you have to render it conditionally. So better than that, right? So coming back to this, get selected coordinates, get a context menu, coordinates, get context menu position. Okay, thinking of creating another function that's gonna be const get context menu position, and what the hell, sorry. This is just a utility function, so not sort of that, but sort of that. Utility function, but it uses the window.innerWidth. It can only be inside the hook, it cannot go outside the hook. Yes or no? Yes. Not really bad option. I mean, we can have it in here, can't we? It's gonna return get position, text position, get context menu position. I'm gonna be passing the event. Once I got that, x, y, the value of x and y can be undefined, bro. Okay, fine. So what's the solution? context menu ref dot current context menu. Let's pass the context menu as well. This so we are passing the context menu, and once that is actually going to be passed in here, that's gonna be context menu is what? HTML div element. Alrighty, this is done, and once we have this, we are setting it this. Pretty simple, right? So this is just a function, helper function. Coming back to this, we have these things. This is not really over yet because we are getting the position. That is good, we are getting the position. The another thing is that we have to set that as selected if needed. First of all, this. So that can be on a single shape. Const clicked in selected area, that's gonna be equals to hit shape. What kind of function I had? Helper functions, what are they? Geometry, where is that geometry box? Geometry, and then we have hit test is point in selected bounds. No need to check it. Get a shape at position.ts. Yeah, this is gonna be helpful. So we are gonna be using this particular function. It will get the shape, otherwise it will just simply return nothing. Coming back to this, get a shape at. We don't really need to use any bounds and all these things. Let me see. Only when we click here it gets selected, and then it always remains selected. Okay. There could be possibility that we already have selected shapes. Can't that be possibility? Let's see. Yeah, so we can already have the selected shapes as well. So when we can already have the selected shapes, then we need to take care of what? We need to take care of the bounds as well. So it turns out I'll have to use the bounds anyway. Okay, never mind. So this is not gonna be working. So what's the another function? Is point in selected bounds.ts. But it depends, like if the shapes are actually selected or not. So if the shape is actually selected, so what I'll actually have to do, that I'm gonna get the selected shapes. Selected shape IDH. Selected shape IDH, just like this. Now I can check one thing in here. Let's make it let here clicked inside a selected shape. By default I'm making it false, and what is the next thing? If selected shape id is dot length, if that is if that is greater than 0, that simply means there are shapes selected. So we have to use check for bounds area, else if there are no shapes selected, so we can directly get for the bounds. Checking for the bounds area. Is point in selected bounds. So what we are actually doing, that we are just simply passing the point in the bounds, so we can get the bounds. We can use only one, that would be alright. Let's keep it simple. Simple in the sense, even one directly we can check it. How we can check it? Let me show that. So if we have the selected shapes, can we really do that? Probably not. If we have selected shape IDs, that simply means we have selected shape bounds as well, or we can get them. But if we don't have selected shapes, we'll have to select the shapes first of all. So we already have the selected shapes in here at the top. Let's make it null. Selected shape IDs. If there are selected shape IDs, that is great. If there are no selected shape IDs, so at that time I'm gonna check whether I'm actually selecting a shape or not. That simply means I need to get the shape ID and then I need to set. That's gonna be insane. So if I already have selected shape ID is greater than 0, that simply means I have the selected shapes. Once I have the selected shapes, const group bounds. If I have the selected shapes, get group bounds, pass the preview shapes. It is expecting the preview shapes. Crazy. It should be expecting shapes, but okay, never mind. Just returned what the hell, I don't even have the shapes. Okay. भाई शेप्स भी तो लाना पड़ेगा. Once we have the shapes dot, हाँ अब क्या करना है भाई, filter I think, and if I actually have the, of course we have to filter, but before even that, const, I'm actually gonna be creating a set that will have selected IDs, so that if there are duplicate IDs, so we don't get them apart from this particular thing. Alright, this way I'm gonna be getting my selected shapes. Pretty simple. If selected has that particular ID, that selected is nothing but a set here, then I'm gonna be just simply setting that as selected shape. Once we have it, we will pass selected shape here, but this group preview shape, this should be shapes. Everything else is fine. What the, sorry, is everything all right? Such a huge hook this is, literally. Anyway, we'll fix it. Well, it cannot be, it is a selection hook, so it will definitely be a big one. We have to pass shapes, rather array bhai, selected shapes. Now fine, so we have the group bounds now, so we have to check the point in bounds, right? Const clicked in selected area is a point in selected shape bounds. It needs to have point, and that is gonna be, what is the point, bro? A point क्या है भाया? Point I don't have that. Do I have that? No, I don't have that. X and Y, they are the coordinates for the context menu, but yeah, so I have to create. X is gonna be event dot client X, Y is gonna be event dot client Y. Bounds are gonna be group bounds. So we'll get the result if we actually clicked there or not. This is the first thing. What's the another thing? The another thing is that if there are no selected shapes, if there are no selected shapes, then we have to set that as a selected shape. So const hit shape, we have to get hit shape. Thankfully all the functions whatever we need are already created. So get a shape at position, it gets the point. Again, I don't have the point. event.client, yes. Alrighty, I hope this is clear. We have the point in here. Once we have the point, so we can directly pass it in here. We can directly pass it in here. We have the point. What else? Shapes. Okay, what else? Selected shapes. Are you kidding me? If I actually had the selected shapes, if we already have the selected shapes, we are going with this. Bro, you are right, because even if the shapes are selected, we still have to check whether we are clicking inside that or not. And if the shapes are selected, there are many shapes, then what we are doing is point in selected shapes bounds. And if there are no shapes, then we have to set the shape. So we are just simply doing it like this. And if we have the hit shape, so clicked by CLICKD, clicked in selected area. That's if I have the hit shape. In that case, that's gonna be true, otherwise that's gonna be false. As simple as that. Not only that, bro, we have to set selected shape IDs. I have to have it here. So const set selected shape IDs, use set selected shape IDs. We have to set the value of that in. Where is that? Set selected shape IDs, hit shape dot ID. Now the thing is that hit shape be possibly null. So if I don't have hit shape, what's the use of even running this? And if I already have the hit shape, so once I'm gonna be setting it to, are not tree walker, come on. Sure. This is fine. Okay, so we have done this, and then later what we are doing, we have written the logic. Now let's see whether it works or not. Done. If I clicked on the shape got selected, and we are, what the hell? It's not like we are getting the wrong result. First of all, Ajja bhai, directly we are not getting the context menu, such bad. We select. We have to fix it. We have to fix the logic. It's not like everything's right in here. First of all, if nothing is selected, and if I click somewhere, at least it should be running, right? So this runs and it becomes true. So there are no selected shapes, and when I clicked there is no hadda. I'm returning. You got to be kidding me. Why am I returning? If I have the hit shape, so both the things need to be inside that. So the logic that we are using to check whether that is inside the bounds or not itself is wrong. Because even we click outside it selects. The logic is wrong, bro. What have I missed? पता नहीं यार, इतना लिखने के बाद कहाँ क्या मिस किया किसको पता रह जाता है. Let's go through it. So if we have the selected shapes, so we are doing it like this. It works as expected, right? Even if I move it here, it works even though it goes somewhere else, but at the end of the day it somehow works. The only thing is that once we move it, then it doesn't work. I know what's the reason behind that, and the reason is pretty simple. We are not converting the client coordinates to the canvas coordinates. This part is problematic. What next? So use viewport. Are you gonna be using viewport helpers? Yeah. In viewport helper, I have something called client to canvas. So I have the client coordinates, they need to be converted into canvas coordinates. It's gonna be doing that. I have to pass the client and event dot client x, event dot client y. That is it. Now it should not be problematic. Even if I move it here, or even if I zoom and all, or resize for that. Why is this not working? Okay, so something. If I click, what the hell? Hi. Rectangle cannot is the point in selected bounds. Bounds? Amazing job. The point can actually be null now. Because it actually depends on the canvas. In case if I don't have the point row written from here, this is spelling is wrong here, yaar. Bounds, don't know how many places I have to correct it. Reload it. Ding. भाई ये तो completely return कर रहा है. We are not getting the points. Why? I gonna check it. Null. Why are we getting null? Canvas. It had the canvas when I was moving the mouse. As soon as I clicked, the disappeared. Now the question is, when I click, why is the canvas disappearing? Because that needs canvas. Okay, got it. I need to pass the canvas in here. Can't get viewport. If I don't pass the canvas, that's not gonna work. So viewport is here. Here. Helpers, I need to pass. I need to pass the canvas ref as expected. So now how am I gonna be getting is, I need to have canvas ref. Use context menu shape. It goes to canvas.tsx, and in here context menu, let's pass overlay canvas ref. Ref object done. There is a difference, right? As you can see, when we click on the image, we get something else. When we click outside the image, we get something else. But wow, that's what I wanted, bro. Even if you click on the image and if the image is not selected, that automatically gets selected and you get the values as expected. And if you click outside, you get this image still remains selected. You click outside, that will just simply go away. And this is not it. You can do it on multiple shapes as well. So we have selected many shapes now. If I click outside, the same. But if I click anywhere in that bounding box, we are getting that cut. But there is only one problem. What is that? When I click on this, it actually goes outside. Normally it does not. So how is this being calculated now? Are we able to resize it or not? Okay, I love this. Anyway, so one issue, that is the way coordinates are actually being calculated for it. When a particular shape is selected, this is working fine, no problem as such. If the shape is not selected, so clicked area always remains false. First of all, this open becomes true, that is right, and we get the x and y coordinates. Understood. How? What now? I know the issue, what that is. The issue is that the issue is here. Context menu. What kind of context? Because we have two, right? So instead of having the context menu over here, let's have the, okay, just a sec. We have this in here, right? And whenever we get, I'm passing the context menu. I do not need this context menu. I need the separate menus, context menus, the shape one. So that's gonna be canvas context menu, and that's gonna be selected shape context menu. I need them. The question is, how can I have them? And it turns out that it is here. So now it's not about this, it's about, but is this actually being used or not? Context ref, when I actually pass from here, goes to the canvas context. I don't think it is being used anywhere. Yeah, that is the problematic thing. I know what it is. So what do we have to do? We have to come back to this, and instead of just having one context ref, we are gonna be having two. So first one is gonna be selected shape context. Selected shape context. That canvas context. This context is mainly going to be used to check the size of that particular div, and that is why we are using it here, the context. HTML div element. अरे भैया ऐसे भी नहीं. हाँ, now अब किसको भेजूँ मैं इधर भाया? How would I know? We have to get the x and y coordinates, that is fine, but how would I know? So if there is any hit shape, if there are selected, not this, context position, that's this right now. Let's give it the type. Any context position for that return, that doesn't really matter. It will have x, that's gonna be a number. It will have y, that's also gonna be a number, but we don't know that yet. That's not defined yet. Okay, and we have to calculate that, because if only when I have it, if I have the context position, then only context position I can have the value of these in here. Alright, but I don't have the values of these, so if I have context position only, then I can do this, otherwise I cannot. Variable context position is used before being assigned. Okay, let's assign the values in here. So if clicked, how do we do that? Good question. Now if I actually clicked, so if clicked in selected area, this is how it's actually gonna be going on. If I actually clicked inside the selected area, that simply means that is selected, so the context is gonna be selected shape context ref.current. It gets the context menu, that's just the element and the event. Coming back to this, or I'd rather do what? Context position, that's gonna be equals to get context menu positions, pass the event and pass, if that is clicked, that simply means that is gonna be selected shape context ref dot current. Now the question is that if it doesn't exist, then what? Kamal hai. So if it doesn't exist, then I'll get the position. Otherwise we have to get it normally. Context position, that's gonna be get context position event, and this is gonna be canvas context ref dot current. Again the question is, what if it does not exist? Interesting. And return is insane. Let's just simply have it inside this, that would be better. So we could have else if statement as well in that case. Yeah, but that's also fine. So we will have context positions once we actually will have context positions. So we are gonna be just simply using them in here. Any problem? Now when it comes to returning, so I'm actually gonna be returning selected shape and context ref. Selected shape context ref, then was context ref. I'm returning these two. So once I'm actually returning these two, so the overall type is gonna change. Yeah, mainly the last one. So context type. Selected shape context ref canvas context ref. Wherever I have this is the selected shape context ref. So selected shape context ref. Finally it is done. Canvas context ref. Let's try this thing now. Come on, yaar, what am I doing? Try now. Tring, outside, inside. What the hell? Yeah, working. Isn't this? It doesn't go. Even if I'm clicking here at the bottom, it still remains there. But the context position. Alright, so if the shape is actually selected and then when we click outside, the problem is in this logic now. So if the shape is selected, that simply means there are selected shapes. When there are selected shapes, then whenever I click outside, so clicked in selected area, that of course become false. And if it actually becomes false, then if clicked area becomes false and I have this selected a context shape, then use this. And if I don't have that, then go with this. And if I have canvas context ref dot current, get the position. So what was the error? The error was that it doesn't have the value of context position. The better way is that set it just after being set in here. Probably I have to repeat twice, but at the end of the day that's gonna be there for sure. Let's see. If the shape is already selected, well, this works, then it doesn't work. Crazy. When we click on the shape it works, and then it just stops. There is a problem in the logic. So when I click on the selected shape, clicked in selected area, it's point in selected shape, and if once that is inside the selected shape, when we click again, and this only works when the selected shape is greater than 0. So when I click and that remains that. I'm gonna take a break for now. Selected shapes, that is false, that is right. If I'm clicking inside the selected shape, that is true. If I'm clicking outside, that is false. But when I click outside, even if that is false, why doesn't that appear? So this is fine, the value of that. Coming back to this one, for the first time when I clicked that, nothing happened. That's right, this particular logic ran. And clicked in selected shape area, that became true, and hit shape, selected shape, true, false. So the selected shape is actually true, then that is fine, it appears. Clicked in selected shape area, so it works. Let me have the same kind of logic in here as well. Let me just make it work somehow, and after that we'll organize the code. So how does it work now? Interesting. So this part is wrong. How to just modify the logic here? First of all, if you are clicking outside, so whenever you click, you have to check whether there is a selected shape or not. If there is a selected shape, you have to show that selected shape context, otherwise you don't have to show that. So before even that, as for right now, we have both the context, like selected shape as well as that, so we can easily get the context positions. Okay, selected shape context position. Let's do one thing. Selected shape context position, get context menu position event, and selected shape context ref dot current, and the another one is gonna be canvas context position, get context position event canvas context ref. So this is it. Now if I don't have the values, in that case of course I'm gonna be returning, and in that case I would return from the beginning itself. So if I don't have selected shape context ref, or I don't have canvas context ref, in that case I'm just simply gonna return from here. But in case if I have them, null is not assignable, and they're gonna be different of course. And after that we have to check whether we clicked inside just a minute, there was a mosquito and even that flew really fast, crazy. Anyway, so if that exists, if clicked in selected, so, and if not clicked in selected, so what we are gonna be doing in here, now at a time, actually both can. So if actually clicked inside the selected shape, so what do we have to do? We have to, if I clicked inside a particular selected shape, so x is gonna be this, y is gonna be this, and on the other case, on the other hand, if I just simply remove this from here, so we'll have either this or this. What is the problem? Try. Not just one problem, there are nothing but problems. So it is returning from here itself. CLG opening as expected. These values, they do not exist. For what reason? Why they do not exist? Selected shape context ref dot current. The value is actually null. What are we doing, or what are we missing? Open context menu. Let's do one thing. Even if the value is being set, no, yes, the value is actually being set. The value is always null. Why is that so? Why is the value? Center context position, that's not used. Get rid of this. What am I missing? Okay, there is something is missing actually. We are not getting the value of these two for some reason. We are definitely passing them from here. Once they are actually passed from here, what is the next thing? This is the problematic thing. Okay, got that. The thing is that I'm doing this. I expected them to be there, but at the end of the day they are not gonna be there. So instead of doing this, open, if both are true, it's gonna be visual, otherwise it's not. Opened. As expected, we did this. Even if we zoom it, congratulations everybody, this is ready. Time to do, of course, some actionable thing. The designing part is done. Doesn't matter where we click, it is, if we click on the selected shape, it is like this. If we click outside, it is like this. Not only that, if we zoom in and zoom out, that doesn't really matter much. And even if we have some images here, and if we just select them all, and if we click outside, it is like that. If we click inside, that is like this. And even if we click inside the bounds, that is still being rendered the best way possible. Whew, great. It's working amazingly fine. How long has it been anyway? 2 hours. Interesting. We have done this. What is the next step? The next step is to just simply make it dynamic. Like implement these colors, making it dynamic, and after that I'm gonna be using rough.js. Right now I'm using pure canvas. Later I'm gonna be using rough.js. What is rough.js? Rough.js is another package. Using this you can diagram like crazy, I mean these types of images as well. It actually these rough images and all. So we are gonna be working on this particular thing, and let's see how it's gonna be going on. Gonna be pretty interesting anyway. I'll be catching up soon. It's been amazing. See you.